show that serves you daily juice on what's trending on social media, and this is a very interesting Thursday edition of the program. It's great to be here on the show. My name is Patience, and I'm here with my partner, Alero. Good afternoon, Alero.
Good afternoon, Patience. How you doing?
I'm fine.
I get excited.
Thursdays. Yes.
Thursdays. Yippee!
Authentic gossip.
Official FBI.
Yes. So, of the social media. All right, so it's going to be another interesting Thursday on the program today. The number to use is 0802 836 8971, 0802 836 8971, or you can use other social media portals.
Yes, that's on Facebook, www.facebook.com/GalaxyTV, and on Twitter at official Galaxy TV. Knowing that you can get to watch previous editions of the program by our YouTube channel, Galaxy TV Nigeria.
And just to mention this quickly before we go ahead, I know there's a rerun of the show like late into the night, and people start calling the number and sending. It is a repeat, okay? So it's just for people to catch up. In case you missed it at this time, you just watch it. Your messages, your calls at that time don't have any impact. So maybe we should just desist from that, just to mention that. Anyways, our guests are here with us on the program already. It's a pleasure to have them back on the show. We have Mrs. Tina Uche. She's an activist with Women Arise Foundation. For change. Women Arise for Change. And you know those women, they ain't kidding. She's an activist and also a counselor. Good afternoon, Mrs. Uche. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me again.
All
Good
right.
afternoon, dears.
Also, we have the only man in our midst this afternoon. He's blessed.
I'm also
Yes. He's the country director for Keeping Up the Hope Foundation. That's Coop Foundation. So he's a social worker and he's also a social commentator, Mr. Francis Chilaka. Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon. Thank
for
you.
joining us. Also, we have the ever beautiful Mrs. Ife Oniada, aka Madame Rubella.
Good afternoon.
When you say woman is an all-rounder, you know, I don't know where to start with.
So elegant.
She's into so many things. So many things. She's an inspiration and a motivation for a lot of women. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so very much.
All right, so let's go straight into our program today. Our first topic, we're discussing the plight of widows in Nigeria. That's because come Saturday, the 23rd of June, which is this Saturday, is the day set aside really to create more awareness on the plight of widows. It's called the International Widows Day on Saturday. So today we'll be talking about the plight of widows in Nigeria. We all know that it is not an easy thing when a woman's husband dies, you know. But what makes it worse are the cultural practices and some of the religious beliefs that goes along with somebody already losing a loved one, you know. That makes it harder to bear. So to kickstart our conversation, we have this mini documentary that's talking about some of the issues women face when they become suddenly widowed. We take the footage and then we'll be back on the show. Join us here.
Life is precious. But as precious as it is, life can also be very delicate. We live in a world where a lot of what happens to us cannot be determined by us. One of such is death. And when it happens, those left behind mourn the painful passing away of their loved ones. It is even more painful when the one left behind is the woman, especially in the Nigerian society. The loss of a husband is a tragic event in the life of any woman. Some get over it quickly, but for many others, the pains never seem to end.
It's not easy to lose a loved one, somebody you've been with for a long time, a husband, somebody you've loved all your life, and suddenly the person is no more. Somebody that sleeps by your side is no more.
It is often the beginning of a long journey into hardship and depression, low self-esteem and self-pity, loneliness and frustration.
Some people are so emotional that if they are not helped when they've lost their husband, it could lead to other kind of diseases, trauma, pain that could lead. Some people have been, known to commit suicide. Some people have lost their mind.
Except God is with you, at times you feel like killing yourself. It makes you to feel there are certain things that will happen to you supposed not to have happened to you. But being that you are a widow, you use it to rob yourself. You just hand over it to God.
There are different classes of widows: older widows, young widows, childless widows, widows with disabilities, and widows living with HIV/AIDS. However, one thing is common with these classes of widows: their loss.
1980, again the 17 years. Dim jelo nebe onwe no obele unu onwe na alaba. So go jele ebe anwa we gasi anata we si n'isi na awe ya. Ya odi amata ata echi obidokwa. We luzie na 25th night. So m si na room pota ebe anwa amele we for the enlargement picture. No na wall ebe ono na emezi kpokuru. The picture bido na akụ na ahụ aja na egwu tụba m. Ebunodo na ekpele na asị Chineke na ife ọbụla bụ uchi ya mee. Na this my age na ma chọrọ kwa ebugbu. That January 26. Nwanne di m nke n'obodo a ofu family ka ha Golden John ka anyị na-akpọ ya. Ọ bịa sị m Oliakụ m ekwọrọ m ehi ọnụ. Ọ sị m ọ gịnị arụ ọ dịkwa m. Sị dadi na m agọta ihe na-eme. Unu nwebe ike ịgwa m n'ife megata. Ọ bụrụ na ọ na-adị agwa m nwa amaghị ife mere na ọ mụgoro nwee ife ọzọ. Sị na signal ndị Igbo na-eme ma mmadụ nwụọ bụ ikopụ picture nọ n'ife a kpudi ya na wall. Nọ ya nwa bụ ife ndị Igbo na-eme. So ọ mụgoro kedu ife ọzọ na sị na nwa m dị 10 months plus. Na ya ka nkụ n'aka. So I na-ekuzi ife a ha bidozie wee na-asịzi m na nsogbu adịrị. So ife o ji ewutezi m nkịta bụ na ya nwa nwụsị since 2000 ahụ ọnwụ wee ruo today ọsọ m nwa bụ onye na-azụ ụmụaka.
In some parts of the country, or some cultures, where a widow is expected to squat in black clothes for a period of 6 to 1 year, she won't come out. There are places that she's expected to drink the water used in betting the dead husband to prove her innocence. There are also places that she's expected to sleep in bed floor and wail early in the morning, to show that she's still mourning the husband.
The moment your husband is gone, after the burial, everybody goes back to their homes and face their own pains and businesses and face their lives, and we just forget about the widow and her children. Most times they are without help, either from family members or from friends of the husband.
Even those that used to be your friends, they will abandon you.
The law recognizes the right of a widow to stay in her husband's family house. She has the right to cultivate the farms, but under the customary law, a woman does not inherit her husband's property.
But I'm a Chineke because I'm more than man survive. But in their condition and everything, when it's Chineke, I don't want to go with him. Let me be and take care of these children.
Just like the case of Obi Ofoka, many widows in Nigeria are living in harrowing conditions all over the country.
The problems being faced by most widows: 1, illiteracy. We have laws, but you being aware that there are certain rights enshrined in these laws to protect you. Illiteracy plays its own part. She's illiterate, she doesn't know her rights, she doesn't know how to fight for her rights.
Because
most of these issues are in the rural areas. That's where you hear most of those pathetic stories and everything. But A lot of NGOs have gone down to the grassroots to educate them on their rights. It's something that will phase out with time.
Some women are married to good families, and you find probably the younger brother of the man wanting to see how he can play a kind of little role to ensure that the woman does not totally break down. Some women are also fortunate to have their family stand by them in that grieving time.
Widows are valuable and worthy women who are just victims of the inevitability of death. Therefore, their civic rights and dignity must be protected and respected.
A widow is entitled to her full rights: freedom of movement, freedom to own properties, right to vote and be voted for, right to participate in everything, all the constitutional rights a full-fledged citizen is entitled to.
Corporate organization and the private sector should also look into the issue of the subject of what we're discussing right now.
In order for society to progress positively, we must, as a point of duty, take it upon ourselves to take care of these women and their children.
Eastern parts of Nigeria, they've kind of enacted a law on the infringement of widowhood rights, where a widow has a right to stay in her late husband's place till she wants to leave. So it's now an offense for you to now throw a widow out.
Welcome back from that. 08028368971 is the number to use to join us on the show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we just saw that report there. I mean, it brings us back to that consciousness that widows actually have a lot to endure, you know, other than the loss of their loved one who's passed. There are other things to deal with. I want to start from Mr. Chilaka, because you are the man here, you know. I'm feeling a bit emotional, which is very unlike me, you know, about this issue. But let us talk about this issue of widows and widowhood rights in Nigeria today.
You're really putting me on the tight edge. But the truth is that I've been working with widows since 2011. And I think it's just a common story everywhere. Maltreatment, abuse, neglect. And there seems to be no solution in sight. Why? You'll never hear of Widows Association. It doesn't exist in Nigeria.
Only in churches that I know.
So you find out that the widows are more in churches. You know, they say when a husband dies, the widows marry the church, or the church marries them. Mm-hmm. So there is no organized sector that is actually promoting the cause or fighting for the rights of widows. So it's really difficult for anybody to sit down and tell you there's a solution. And then from each state in Nigeria, any state you go to, the widows are going through almost the same thing. They are being maltreated by their in-laws. They are even being maltreated by their own family members. Because it's easy to say that the woman killed the man. It's once it's there, the woman becomes like
an outcast.
Outcast. So nobody cares. So we need to understand something that is fundamentally wrong. I keep saying it, even on my social media page, I keep saying the problem of women, not only widows, the problem of women in general lies in the hand of women. Because when a man passes on, in some cultures you need to scrape your hair. Men don't come and scrape your hair. It is still women that come to do it. Even when they want to pack your husband's load, property, and they want to chase you away, they want to take the kids from you, the men don't come out. It is this women, and they have this name tag called Umada. So you find out that in that group of Umada, there are a lot of frustrated women there. So for them, it's an opportunity
To just vent their anger
On someone else.
on someone else.
that is actually grieving.
It is so painful, it is so pathetic that Nigeria as a country does not have any kind of system that protects the vulnerable.
Except we want to look at the NGOs, and the foundations, but those are
How
like
much do they
run
have?
by
There are
individuals.
actually
Yeah.
little that
The
any
NGO can do.
to a
You see,
family member.
let me say this. We a lot of us, I'm sure every one of us here, we're on social media. You find women on social media, everybody's fighting feminism, war, But the thing is this, outside our social media, you're faced with reality. Because when we keep saying we don't want the widows to be treated this way on social media, we don't want women to be treated this way on social media, the people that take these decisions are in the village. They are not on social media. So they don't even understand what you're talking about. So it is not a war that can be fought and won on social media. It's a war that people need to go back to the basics, to the grassroots,
Okay.
and take it from there.
Let me bring in, I'm coming to you, Mrs. Uche, because I know you work with with a group, and you deal with all those cases every day. But let's go to Mrs. Oniada. Why are women so bitter, against fellow women?
I really do not know. I don't think I have an answer to it. I don't know. Honestly, I do not know. But one thing is sure. Every woman, every average woman is slightly a bitter woman when she sees the other woman. I use the word slightly because you walk into an office to see someone and a woman is a receptionist. The first thing she does is to welcome you with a very stern looking smile.
After sizing you up.
Yes, as though you're there to, snatch someone. So I don't know. It's really an issue to be discussed and can never be overemphasized. I really do not know.
Why I ask this, taking it from where Mr. Chilaka stopped talking about is women who enforce all this barbaric widow's rights on fellow women, you understand. But then, still looking at the issue of widows, how best should society begin to handle issues concerning that?
Like Mr. Chinaka said, we keep talking about it here. Let me use the word enlighten. We're the enlightened ones here in Lagos. All these things happen right in the village. How do we assess these women and begin to talk to them about their mentality? How do we reach them? Do we go in groups? Do we have a woman here who will take the message down to these women? Because I think they usually have this meeting called August meeting. Can we have some of these women, can we reach them? They are reachable, I guess. Some of them are in Lagos. Have a forum where we can discuss about these things and let them take it down to the village to meet these other women. That's one solution we can provide.
But Mr. Chilaka, there are times that they get to say tradition cannot be erased. So some women will get to say, we met it on ground and it needs to go on.
Tradition.
Do you understand? Like from where I come from, there's a certain tradition that goes there that you have to do the okpo. And you have to keep the woman, and she actually eats with broken plates. And they serve her like
she wears sackcloth.
She wears sackcloth.
And she has
for
to
like
sit
3
on the
days
floor.
on the floor. My mom went through that, so I knew what it was. There are still some people that would not still want to go through that process, and they now become like an outcast. You cannot even associate with your child because you're scared of the curse that goes with it. So I guess our traditional rulers.
I'm gonna try another question to you. We all keep talking about tradition, and we all think that we cannot do anything about tradition. We have evolved as humans, and we keep evolving. Today, everybody is using a smartphone. Before, nobody would talk about using a smartphone. I remember when I was much younger, I used to hear my parents say that if as a child you're learning to run, sprinting, you are referred to, they see you as an armed robber. They see that they say this child will become a thief. But today, parents are encouraging their kids to go into, because they now see beyond that. Like she said, I think it's just all about, enlightenment. People need to sit down. Don't also forget that some of these people who promote this wicked, barbaric tradition and culture are benefiting from it. People don't promote what they don't benefit from. And that's the truth. So it boils down to the fact that she said something about women being bitter. We need to get women to calm down. We need to get women to realize that with all the noise we make on social media, it does not move out of social media. And so what you have on social media these days is that there's a war between men and women. So the younger generation that would, say, let us see how to throw away this culture and tradition. Now they're beginning to see that, the women are forming a coalition. So let us go back to that tradition that holds them in check. And that's what is happening.
Okay. All right. Let me come to Mrs. Tina Uche now. I know that you deal with all these cases. What are the most permanent, issues that women who find themselves becoming widows suddenly face, really?
Honestly speaking, most of them, majority of them are helpless. There's no law backing them. There's no protection anywhere. And I feel bad because at least we have few women in the legislature. They are not doing anything. It's only during the election they will go home and share rice. Now we are talking about church because God is the husband of the widow. What they get in church is when somebody is doing Thanksgiving with rice or yam, they will say all the widows come and share, and that is not enough. No empowerment, no nothing. So a majority of them, and we say culture, we should get out of, even the religious bodies should come into this cultural trend. We have cases. There's a woman, maybe it's from your place. It said the husband died in accident and the relations got to know before her. She was taking her bath. And the culture demands that the situation she finds herself on hearing that's the situation. So she had towel and she will have to sit on the floor. Immediately with the towel, and they went in, the relations came in. Their husband is there. Sit down. Then they went in and started packing things. We have another case of a woman. The husband had crisis. He was in the hospital. He wasn't dead. So the brothers came and called the wife away through the window. Come out. He came out. He said, we want the document of the house at home and the one in Lagos. The man had it. And that was the end. He died. And the case is still on because they took the property at home. They came to Lagos. So what we are trying to say is this. Culture, it is their culture to do this, to shape the woman, and the problem in Nigeria is another thing. Immediately a man dies, the wife is the first suspect. Why is it like that? Now there's another case of a woman, they're still practicing it in Nigeria, where the corpse of the man has to be washed, and the woman has to, then we told the woman you can't drink it. The church now came in. We can't. So that case is still on. Because they say the woman will have nothing to do with it. What are you going to give to do for God's sake?
Madam,
the issues are more than this. The issue of inheritance, that one is on another level. Even the customary law doesn't even protect a woman to that extent.
A woman has no
I think there's a solution to that.
So let me finish.
Sorry, madam. Women. No. Okay.
The legislation, because the woman, there's no protection for the Nigerian woman from anywhere. So what we are saying is, we are calling on the women, whether they are 2 or 3, I don't know. Instead of coming during the election to share rice to the widows, they should try to speak out to make sure that some of these, at least to try some of these laws that are against tradition, that is against the women, they should try.
Let's activate and begin to implement.
During the August meeting, you say something, because I don't know about other tribes. Like this August meeting, people come from abroad.
Yes.
That is the opportunity, the time, because it's the women that are against themselves. Because all this rubbish is carried out. There's no one, any whatever evil thing melted on a woman that women will not be part of it. So that during this time, these people from Abuja should come, or from the state, they should come to talk to these women. From there, they move into the Igbe.
Okay, all right, let's move it along.
I was just going to say that the Nigerian woman, that is mothers now, they are the next line of defense. They're actually the last line of defense for this kind of things to be called. Let us begin to encourage our girl child to be educated. Let us encourage married women, even spinsters, get employed. When we talk about widows suffering, 90% of widows that are suffering in Nigeria are women who are married to their husbands doing practically nothing. If a woman is empowered, if a woman is educated, she knows her rights. She knows where to go to when this crisis arises. I'm telling you the truth. Let us look at it holistically. That is the solution. That is where the solution starts from.
What of the women that their husband will say don't work? We have cases like that.
These so-called enlightened women still go back to the village for burial.
Yeah,
And they're subjected by the illiterates to this.
To do what they want, because they want to go for the
Do you know
final
why they are
burial.
extraordinarily bitter during these occasions? Number one, let me use myself as an example. My husband dies. You, 3 women coming with other women to cut my hair. She pulls down my neck, bends down my neck, pushed down my vein to my head, and is cutting, all in the name of cutting my hair, hurting me. God forbid it gets to her turn, because this thing is
Vicious circle.
Yes.
I'll just be like,
said
when
feel
it's
am
happening,
well.
I won't feel like
said
she go
we
hear
draw
her.
back, yeah.
So that's where the bitterness
Comes
comes from. In
But you know
letting
what-
out these
yeah.
treatments.
Yeah.
Women
But you know, another
against women.
issue we need to discuss is the double standards in the whole thing. You rightly pointed out that when a woman's husband dies, the wife is the first suspect. And then she's made to go through all that. But when the man loses the wife, you know, they don't accuse the man of having killed the wife. And second of all, 3 months is even too much. They start telling him, oh,
No. This is no. I disagree. You know, no. Don't go there. Don't go there.
Don't go there. Why?
Yeah, don't go there. Yes, but I would say this, that when a woman passes on and the man is in a hurry to remarry, check that man and that woman. That man was in a relationship before that woman died.
But they do it now.
Yes, you know it
We're
is.
talking about
I'm going to talk from example.
I
Yes.
know your story.
Yes.
I'm
So
not saying there are no rare cases of men who genuinely love their wives, you know. But usually, you know, even your family will begin to mount pressure on you.
no, but let me say this: if I'm a lady, and a man who's just mourning the wife for 6 months, 1 year, comes to marry me, I will say no. And I'll tell you why. The man is not healed yet. It's a simple truth.
But people don't have conscience.
But what if that man was in the relationship before he lost his wife?
Well, that was what I said before.
80% of Nigerian married men are in relationships. So what
80. Oh, the figure is getting
What's
better.
if you're moving on with a side chick?
There's a man that married a woman that came for the wife's burial. Life.
Yes, I read about that.
That this one, somebody I know very well.
But once
The
a
woman
man
followed
does it, it
people that
becomes
came
terrible.
for burial.
Okay, now
The man.
let me ask a question.
Forgetting that
Who,
this
first
woman
of all, when a woman does it, who is the first person that throws the first stone?
women.
All right, let's look at how our viewers are actually reacting to this issue. This one says the best way to go is to involve all public-spirited individuals, companies, churches, and mosques. Let's all contribute a percentage of monthly income to an established social welfare fund managed by people with conscience. This one says, hello dear, listening to your program, I am a widow for 5 years now. My in-law are annoyed with me simply because I refuse to complete the house that I and my husband are building in the village. They went and packed everything and took them to the village. What can you say about this? I am left with a daughter. No one have come and see the girl. After training her, will they claim my girl now? Unfortunately,
they will wait to when she wants to get married.
That's the situation we are in. Your daughter can't get married in isolation. You know what I mean?
That's it.
The husband will insist.
Can I
The
respond
family
to
of the
Go ahead
husband.
quickly.
My mom was pregnant for me. She was 3 months gone when my father died, and she had 3 other kids on ground. She wasn't working. Do you know, at my age now, 45 plus, this is very emotional for me.
I understand.
Years on, I still do not know any one of them. But when I was to get married, they showed up.
Of course.
And it was horrible.
Yeah.
So for this woman, her daughter is going to get married, and a few of them who are godly should come because of respect for the woman and the girl child. So that it doesn't become an abusive marriage.
Later. All right. This one says, my husband died 7 years ago. The family took all his property and rejected myself and my daughter. 2 years after he was buried, the family went to uproot the body and took it to an unknown place where I can't locate up till now. And since I took up the responsibility of my daughter and hope in God that one day he will fight for me.
Let me, Patience, let me say something that for me it's sad and painful. When we talk about widowhood, the pains and the sorrows they go through, we must also realize that these pains are associated with the gender of the kids they have. Let us not shy away from it.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
If the widow
Had a son.
has
A
2,
son.
3 sons,
Yeah.
the family would they would think twice. I'm telling you. But if it is only females, they don't think twice. I am telling it's I told you since 2011 I talk to widows. I reach out to them. So I know most of the widows you see who are really, really suffering are the ones who just have female children. So there is a gender issue involved. Yes.
That's a good point.
Yes.
Quickly.
Is every woman should get empowered.
Yes.
Be empowered so that when these men, as it were, leave us, our life will not stop. We can get moving. We can get going. It's of no use women out there waking up in the morning and sitting down at home saying, my husband doesn't want me to work.
So what do they do now? Because we have cases like that. They
Find
want,
something to
and
do.
you say be submissive. Your husband say that you should, with all your certificates, you should not
Don't
work.
go anywhere.
Madam, let me say this.
You should not work.
You should see, people see the red flags before they enter into marriages. Let us be sincere with ourselves. They just pretend they don't see them. When you're dating a man for 6 months, 1 year, you must be able to tell
The kind of person
the man is. If you're dating a man that will not allow you to touch his phone, already know that there is a problem.
Not in entirety.
It's not
We just see the green lights. It comes sometimes like a flash.
There's a woman, they agreed. After marrying, I will still work. He said yes. They have an agreement. They discussed. But at the end of the day, the man backed out. So what do you expect? Because she is seeking for divorce. He said, with all my certificates,
All right.
you can't sit me at home.
Let's take a quick break.